Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the temporary Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. Okay, that second coffee today probably wasn't needed, so I might be a bit hyper on this one. Here we go. Another spoiler. Actually, technically, sorry, I already messed up. Another leak. My goodness. Yeah, Wizards. What is going on? What in the world is happening? It feels like, I mean, Phyrexian, oil leaks. Is there some kind of a connection? Are you trying to be clever? Or are you just trying to create hype? Or are these actual mistakes? Regardless. All right. Anyways, MTG.design version of the card. Translated. Thank you, Reddit. Zopandrel. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyways, Dominus of Hunger, 4/6 Phyrexian horror that has reach that costs 5 green. At the start of each combat, double the power toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Phyrexian green, sacrifice 2 creatures. You get an indestructible counter on Zopandrel Dominus of Hunger. Yeah, this is another one of those, apparently, Phyrexian gods or whatnot, although they don't have that creature type for some reason. I don't know. Someone explained to me in the comments below why. I mean, they ran out of space, probably, but I thought they said Phyrexian gods. Regardless, yeah. Like the other ones, this one is also incredibly powerful and has a ton of potential, not just in the 99 of a lot of decks out there, but also as a commander. Because again, yeah, legendary. So, I mean, okay, these stats for a green creature are not ridiculous. It's not like, oh, 7 mana, cool, it's a 12/12 or whatever these days, It is a 4/6, but of course, keep in mind that, yeah, this doubles up on every single combat. Every single creature you control, their power and toughness doubles. So basically, you can consider this one to be at the very least an 8/12 for 7 mana. That also, affects all your other creatures. Also has reach and can very easily become indestructible and really hard to deal with, and also benefit you by sacrificing creatures. Of course, there are certain creatures that actually want to be sacrificed or other benefits that you can get. Yeah, this thing can pack a punch. Yes, it is 7 mana. But yeah, obviously you are in green, which is the best color when it comes to ramping. So yeah, you're going to be able to get to there pretty easily. Now on this episode, I probably should start with this. Again, this apparently is a leaked version of the card. So yeah, we're not exactly sure if this is actually legitimate or not. It seems legitimate. All of these have very much seemed legitimate. Some have basically gotten confirmed. So yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt. And also, I will put a link in the description below for the cards I'm talking about on this episode that work well with this commander if you're considering it as one of your commanders that you want to build around. But yeah, maybe don't buy any of those cards until this is confirmed to be an actual card. Anyways, on to this episode again. Hey, budget buys, less than $1. Those cards I'm going to talk about. And then also pricier picks, cards that are over $1. Let's jump into it. Right after I talk about the card that probably inspired this one. And yeah, basically all of these kind of seem to have some kind of a pattern to them. It's like, hey, they're doubling up something, but also like they're also kind of inspired by a very specific card. This one definitely comes from a natural growth, an enchantment for 1, lots of green. Green. I think I said that right, 4 green. Anyways, beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness for each creature you control until end of turn. Now, yeah, this is on an enchantment, so it's already hard to deal with. Of course, you're indestructible. Phyrexian is also really hard to deal with as well, and of course can smack your opponents too. So yeah, this is definitely some great inspiration for the card, but also a great card to have in the deck. Now, this card is not a budget buy. It would be in the pricier picks, but I decided to point out a little bit earlier because this is definitely where the card comes from. Anyways, now let's jump into those budget buys. Again, cards that are within my budget. Cards that are less than $1. We're going to start off with Sad Robot. Oh, poor Solemn Simulacrum. You're always, everyone's happy to see you, get on the battlefield, but then also happy to see you just leave the battlefield. Enters the battlefield, you get a, basic land to play tapped. Great, cool, ramp. Oh, but when you die, you draw a card. Yeah, we're going to be sacrificing you to get an indestructible counter on our commander. Now, when you need to sacrifice 2 creatures, obviously, and there are plenty of creatures that actually want to be sacrificed, Mitonic Slime, this is a great one, a 4/4. So cool, you could have an 8/8 if it's in play, right, to double up its power and toughness in combat. Or, when it dies, you get 2/2/2. So when those die, you get, 2 1/1s. So, I mean, essentially you get 4 1/1s in total, right? Because they're splitting and then splitting again. Regardless, yeah, there are going to be plenty of ways with this kind of a deck to say, you know what, even if we have an army of really small creatures, we are going to pump them, which then gets doubled. So yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things. I mean, just think about having, again, those 7 ooze creature tokens in play, and then casting Overrun before you go to combat. So creatures you control get +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Then your commander's like, you know what would be really fun? Let's go to combat. Let's double up power and toughness. Oh, you know those 1/1s? Now they are 8/8s because they get the +3/+3, then double that. So yeah, they are going to be 8/8s with trample. And again, you have 7 of them, plus all the other crazy things you have in play. So yeah, any kind of an overrun, any kind of an anthem effect can be really good with this kind of a commander. And speaking of pump effects, one that can do a lot of work for you is Scale Up. Now, this one can be a targeted spell for just one of your creatures, make it into a 6/4, but you can also overload it for 4 green. So again, with that token example, hey, you know, all those little tokens that, you know, were just 1/1s, now they're 6/6s, which our commander doubles to 12/8. So yeah, I mean, you can really get things out of control in absolutely no time with a commander like this. Speaking of which, hey, Wild Beastmaster, you like power, right? When it attacks each other creature you control, it gets +X/+X until turn, where X is Wild Beastmaster's power. So you can pump your creatures even further. Again, just consider, hey, a scale up plus, you know, doubling up the power. So let's just say Wild Beastmaster again has 12 power on that attack. All of our other creatures get +12/+12 on the attack. Yeah, things can get out of control in absolutely no time. Speaking of out of control, Aggressive Mammoth, an 8/8 for just 6 mana with trample. Yeah, I mean, these are not alpha days anymore, right? We have creatures that are just absurdly costed. I mean, what, Crawworm was the original kind of big creature way back when, and that was like a 6/4. This is like 8/8 trample. Oh, and on top of that, other creatures you control have trample. Yeah, hey, let's give our giant army that we can pump in a multitude of ways, and we can double up with our commander, trample. And this on its own for 6 mana, again, is an 8/8, so double that up. That's a 16/16 with trample. Just swinging through one of your opponents. I mean, you can very easily have every single one of your creatures on the board be bigger than every single one of your opponent's creatures, and they are going to be very scared. And they're going to be really scared when you throw down a Black Blade Reforged and attach it to your commander because, well, it doesn't take much to turn your commander into a 1-shot KO. I mean, your commander is inherently a 3-shot KO, right, essentially, because you go to combat, it has 8 power, so yeah, 3 hits, commander damage, they're gone. Very easy to pump it to the point where it's a 2-shot KO, which would be, you just need basically, what, +2, essentially, to get to 6 power, then it doubles to 12. With this, I mean, you just need to have, you know, 7 lands in play, essentially, right? Because equipped creature gets +1 for each land you control. Your commander costs 7. You are in green. You've got plenty of ways to get lands into play. So let's just say you're even, you know, on curve getting this out, you know, with lands. Yeah, you attach it. +7/+7. It is going to be an 11/13. Go to combat, double that, 22/26, 1-shot KO on any player. And of course, yeah, you got plenty of ways again to give trample and to get it through. So good luck to your opponents. Also good luck if you cast Return of the Wild Speaker. Hey, choose one, instant speed. Draw all cards to go to greatest power of non-human creatures you control, or non-human creatures you control +2/+2 until end of turn. Now, usually this is a great kind of combat trick, you know, hey, kind of like an overrun-ish, you know, like a surprise overrun. No trample, but you know what, instant speed +3/+3, your opponents probably don't expect it. Be careful with this, though, obviously, because if you want to get that, you know, doubling of power, it happens at the beginning of combat, so you kind of can't surprise people with that. Regardless, this is still flexible. It's still a great way to pump your creatures a ton, and also, yeah, a way to draw an absurd amount of cards. I mean, obviously, your commander is not a human, and let's just say, even without any pump effects, yeah, you can draw 8 cards for just 5 minutes in speed. What's not to love about that? And of course, the potential for this is much higher than that. Speaking of which, hey, do you want to get every single one of your forests in your deck into play? Traverse the Outlands. Search the library for X-based land cards, X the greatest power creatures you control. With those cards on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library again. With our example of Black Blade Reforged, just even if you have just 7 lands in play, right? Going to combat, plus, you know, doubling up the power, right? So it's a 22 power. Cast this. Let's go get 22 forests into play. Good luck, opponents. And then obviously Black Blade Forge is going to pump your commander even more. Have fun with all that math. And speaking of having fun, let's go to our pricier picks as well. Again, cards that are above the $1 mark. Cards that are outside of my budget, but ones that you can definitely consider if you got the budget for them. Rishkar's Expertise. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Yep, again, a fantastic effect and one that can just let you draw an absurd amount of cards. Then you can also cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Well, that's lovely. That spell very well might be Overwhelming Stampede. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, get +X/+X for X the greatest power among creatures you control. This can just add an absurd amount of power Again, you can just have creatures, again, like, aggressive mammoth. Let's just say that's in play, right? All your creatures get +8/+8 and trample until end of turn. Then that gets doubled. Again, all these kind of overrun effects, all these Anthem effects, getting doubled thanks to your commander can make this just absolutely game-ending. Speaking of which, Pathbreaker Ibex, hey, do you kind of want Overwhelming Stampede, but on a creature again and again and again? I mean, I do say again and again and again, but how many combats is it going to really take for you to take all your opponents out? Not many. Whenever it attacks, creatures you control gain trample, get +X/X until end of turn, Phyrexia Grace power among creatures you control. Yeah, that's going to be quite a bit. And again, that doubled is just absolutely gross. And speaking of gross, yeah, things were really pushed in Throne of Eldraine, right, Wizards? Anyways, the Great Henge, legendary artifact that cost, well, 9 mana, but it's never going to cost that for you with a deck like this. It's going to cost pretty much 2, because it's going to cost X less cast, Phyrexia Grace power when creatures you control. I mean, even if you just go to your end step with your commander in play, that is only 2 mana then, right? Because your commander would have 8 power, and this would just cost 2. So yeah, tap, head, green. I mean, basically doesn't cost anything, right? You get the mana back. You gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on it and draw a card. And I think I said end step. I meant second main. Anyways, yeah, hey, do you want your creatures to be even larger when they come into play? Do you want to ramp with this? Do you want to draw a lot of cards with this? Yeah, all the above. You're going to be getting a lot of value out of a card like this. There's a reason why this thing is really expensive. Next up, Beastmaster Ascension, a card that at one point was within my budget, but it definitely is not now. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension, and hey, as long as you got 7 more counters on it, creature you control get +5/+5. Again, like I said, a lot of times on this episode, Anthem effects are doubly as good with this commander, obviously. So yeah, basically, hey, are you going to attack a lot with this deck? Probably. Yeah, you're going to attack at least with 7 creatures or 7 times? Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Would you like +10/+10 essentially for all your creatures? Absolutely. Sign me up for that. Oh, and just 3 mana. Yeah. Goreclaw, Terror of Calisisma. Speaking of mana, creature spells you cast power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast. A lot of our creatures in this deck are probably going to cost 4 or less, just like our commander, and that cost reduction can save us a lot of mana throughout the game. On top of that, whenever it attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 against trample until end of turn. A nice additional little boost, and yeah, that trample can really help us push damage through. And yeah, you know how you like doubling things up with your commander? Well, let's double things up again with God Eternal Ronus, a 5/5 zombie god with Death Touch that has, when it enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control until end of turn. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. So yeah, you know those massive creatures that you have? Well, let's double them up. Then we go to combat, double them up again with our commander, including the toughness too on that one. And also they have vigilance, so just swing out at your opponents and they're definitely gone. I mean, they are definitely taken. I mean, your commander is what, 16 power without any other effects essentially, just with those two. So yeah, things can get pretty crazy. I mean, just think of aggressive mammoth, right? Again, our mammoth friend, what, that would be a 32 trample? Your opponents have no shot. And they definitely don't have a chance if you have Selvala in play either. Heart of the Wilds, a 2/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card. Its power is greater than each other creature's power. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards with this. Also, pay a green, tap, add X mana any combination of colors of X Grace power among creatures you control. Again, with that scenario, just think about, aggressive mammoth. Hey, yeah, 32 mana. What can I do with that? Quite a few things. Speaking of which, greater good. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Very easy to draw an absurd amount of cards with this. Sure, you got to get rid of 3 cards, but you're going to be drawing 10 plus very easily in a lot of situations. So this can draw you an absurd amount of cards throughout the game, help you go through your deck very quickly to get the exact cards that you need to win. Just be careful. Do not mill yourself. But again, like I've been saying on these episodes, because, yeah, again, this somehow keeps happening. What in the world is going on? Wizards, leaky oil, no idea. Anyways, take all this with a grain of salt. This has not been confirmed to be an actual card yet. If it is confirmed, again, this is a very powerful card, just like the other, Phyrexian gods or whatever they are. These, indestructible counter creatures, essentially. This one definitely can pack a punch. It can help your entire team pack a punch. This thing is going to be good in the 99 of a lot of decks. It's going to be good as a commander. It's got a lot of potential. I think a lot of players out there are going to be pretty excited about it. Again, make sure you check out the card list links in the description below. And yeah, again, you might want to wait to pick up any cards around this one until it is confirmed to be an actual card. So yeah, make sure you keep that in mind. And with that, today's episode is coming to a close, so yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below, and of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.